Greetings, fellow Godless Rockers. I'm Steve.
And I'm Tally from
Monster on Sunday.
In this week's band blog, we talk about something heard all too often. America is one nation under God.
That's right. The religious love to flaunt the idea that this nation was founded by God, or at least on Judeo-Christian values, whatever that means. In today's episode, we'll explore this claim. And thanks to Matt Miller for this excellent suggestion on our band's Facebook page. Also, we'll take a sneak peek behind the scenes as we record a podcast for Danthropology.
Stay tuned for episode 8
of
Godless
Rockers.
Okay guys, so here's the deal. America is a Christian nation, one nation under God, the greatest country in the world. Freedom! Or is it?
Let's talk about the three parts to this claim, that America is a Christian nation.
Okay, first, because it was founded on Judeo-Christian values, and or because the majority of people that live here are Christians. The founding fathers used that morality to write the Constitution. Hell, it even says one nation under God on our currency and in our Pledge of Allegiance. And that's how it is, damn it.
I have said all along that America is based on Judeo-Christian beliefs, and nobody has to believe me though. There's early documents and see how they crafted a Declaration of Independence and a Constitution that allows that Judeo-Christian belief to be the foundation of our laws, really.
Okay, so what Judeo-Christian values was the country founded on? I can actually think of a few, and so I'll start with what I think Christianity has a fair claim on. Since the Bible is full of support of slavery, both in the Old Testament, where the prescriptions for beating your slave and selling your daughter into slavery are given, and the New Testament, where slaves are told to obey their masters like they would obey Christ.
That's right, and slavery helped make the southern half of the United States profitable as the slave trade continued for hundreds of years on this very continent.
Win for you, Christians, slavery.
Slavery! Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah!
And of course, there's genocide. God himself is not shy to commit genocide from time to time. Like, for example, when he flooded the entire earth, killing everyone except Noah and his family. But God is love.
Right, but it doesn't stop there. God also incited his chosen people to kill off entire populations, most notably the Mennonites, and take their land.
To defend an ethical theory that would allow God to be perfectly good and yet to issue these sorts of horrifying commands, such as to go in and kill everyone in the city, men, women, and children. Because if God is the source of our moral duties, that means that God could command a person to do something which, in the absence of a divine command, would have been sin. So if the armies of Israel, for example, had just decided on their own to go in there and slaughter the people, that would have been wrong. It would have been, say, murder or war crimes. But given a divine command, they now have a moral duty to do that.
Wow, so back to the founding of our country. Luckily for the Judeo-Christian values argument, those values held by many of the European immigrants allowed them to see the indigenous people as heathens, and therefore as less than human, which was backed by plenty of scripture.
Without the indigenous people's land, there could be no United States. So again, I would have to give the Christians this one, yet another enviable Judeo-Christian value, genocide.
But what about religious freedom? First off, religious freedom and freedom in general are not biblical values.
For Christ's sakes, the Bible condones stoning people to death for not honoring the Sabbath. I'm pretty sure that rules out any religious freedom argument.
Yeah, the people that came to the colonies came to escape religious persecution by their government, that is true, but they did not come here to establish any sort of religious freedom. Most of these groups set up their colonies with official religions, making the practice of other beliefs illegal. This means that contrary to what your high school history teacher taught you, religious freedom was not something most of the early Americans valued at all.
But what about the Revolution?
Religious freedom wasn't even a concern for the American Revolution. Most of the colonies that became states didn't have religious freedom and were interested in acquiring it. We fought the Revolutionary War to evade taxes from Britain. No taxation without representation. You know, that whole thing, the Boston Tea Party, the Stamp Act, on and on. The revolution was about taxes.
Really, the values that we all know and love that framed our Constitution and the liberties we now enjoy do not come from a book that is so devoid of any modern ideas about democracy or freedom. These ideas come from a new age, the Enlightenment.
The Enlightenment was one of the most influential movements that still affects our modern age and our Constitution. Ideas like free speech, equality, freedom, and justice for all, as well as the pursuit of happiness, all come from the Enlightenment age, and not a book intent on unjustly condemning us all to an eternity of hellfire for pursuing any type of happiness imaginable by offending the King of Kings. This Enlightenment movement brought new ideas and thoughts about government that were by nature revolutionary, and this was very much against the two main power structures of the time, the monarchy and the church. It's no surprise that the American Revolution attracted these dissident types that would eventually create the framework of our Constitution and country, like Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, and Thomas Paine.
They saw church and God as the oppressive forces for misery that they are. When it came time to pen the Constitution, these founders took steps to make sure that America was a secular nation, to ensure that no religious group, no matter how large, would have religious privileges over any person. Sorry, Christians, thanks to the Constitution, no, America is not a Christian nation. Really, it should be what was written in the original Pledge of Allegiance: one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please let us know what you think of our take on America, one nation, indivisible in the comments section below. Also this week, go behind the scenes with Monster on Sunday as we record a podcast for Danthropology with the show's co-host, our friend Sean. Check it out.
What's up, Godless Rockers? I'm Sean Taylor with Make a Believer Out of Me show and also Danthropology with Dan Arrow. We are here with Foul Language because it is Monster on Sunday, the atheist hard rock band. That's right, bitches. Yes. Welcome to another Danthropology podcast. I am here without Dan Arrow because, fuck that guy. Anyways. Sorry, Dan. This is gonna go bad.
I know.
Well, the Bible will actually make it not religious sometimes.
Well, yeah, if you actually read the whole thing.
Yeah, if you read the whole thing.
If you read just verses here and there, which is what Christians call reading the Bible,
right,
then you can stay religious for a long time. But if you read the thing cover to cover, it's going to be hard to stay religious.
It's a problem.
Yeah, it's a problem. In order to think this way, you have to reject critical thinking and a rationalistic worldview. The two most important things that you can do to actually understand what is real, what is good, what is healthy, what is moral, and what will best serve yourself and humanity.
Especially with my brother. I'm pretty sure my brother's heard our whole album, and I think he's watching our whole show as well. He's been confronting me about, so you figured out you're a Satanist. Even though it was a yes and a no, and it was a joke.
Yeah.
But he's like, so what do you think about demonic possessions and stuff like that? And I'm like, we're
Monster on Sunday!
Yeah! So thanks for joining us for another episode of Godless Rockers.
Tune in for next week's episode, Christians Are Not Religious. No, seriously, this is a thing.
Also, last week we released our final video from our Reason Rally 2016 concert. Check out our band's live cover of Black Sabbath's God is Dead right here.
And click here to check out our store where you can get music, merch, and more.
Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. See you next Sunday at noon.
We're Monster on Sunday! Thanks for joining us on
Godless Rockers.